Having too much pride, you can lose your life. Gotta put in that work, cause you run out of time. Gotta use my gifts, uplift my spirits. Can't receive the word if you don't hear. All that sinning that you do, you gotta stop it. You sold your soul, what was the profit? We gon' keep going, never stopping. Gotta let us see, repent from all them sins, rebuke them demons, guarantee. Look, nigga mean to sin like a time thing, but they don't add no more, now they multiply. Sins like the doors on the Lincoln Continental 65. Suicide, I was sticking to you like a porcupine. How you losing on in know it? How you get a meal and go blow it? How you make clean and go on? You act like they don't see you, people watching. You public, you sound good, but you just talking. You lie to yourself, thinking you got options. It's all good until you get the knocking. Report, I been preaching to the people all day. It's the show good, but it's the wrong way. That doctrine that you sipping on got you drunk as hell. Palm Bay, yeah, it tastes good, but it's liquor on you. Now you can't walk a straight line. All that knowledge, puff it up, I done seen it many times. Having too much pride, you can lose your life. Gotta put in that work, cause you run out of time. Gotta use my gifts, uplift my spirits. Can't receive the word if you don't hear. All that sinning that you do, you gotta stop it. You sold your soul, what was the profit? We gon' keep going, never stopping. Gotta let us in, repent from all them sins, rebuke them demons, guarantee you win.
Selling yourself for these girls and trolling, knocking down the door, you know that's for sure. Lighting these demons, you know we on go. Guys, when it come to Christ, we about action. Having too much pride, you can call lack. You saying be blind, so we watching his tactics. Gotta stay righteous minded, and no magic Houdini. When I'm out doing ops, you won't see me. You know a lie, we ain't praying in genie. Healthy living spread, I know zucchini. Rebuking demons on the daily. Got the world looking at me crazy, but I can't go no to and fro, up and down pole go. You saying I change, yeah I know. Cause one thing for sure, I can't sell my soul.
Having too much pride, you can lose your life. Gotta put in that work, cause you run out of time. Gotta use my gifts, uplift my spirits. Can't receive the word if you don't hear.
Shalom, peace and blessings.
That you do, you gotta stop it.
Peace and blessings. Shalom.
What was the profit? We gon' keep going, never stopping. Gotta let us in, repent from all them sins, rebuke them demons, guarantee you win. I'm picking the lock, on the mission, you with it or not. Out in your vision and witness the plot. Righteous and wicked, consistent collision, war in the spirit, these witches and zombies. Like a wave compared to a drop, cut them off, there's a fade from the locks. It's cool till they raid in your spot. Get the money, invest in some stocks. Hey, get you a vending machine with snakes that better keep you off the block. Rather sooner or later, you gon' catch a tombstone, pitching them rocks. Bad bitch gets a heart attack. Plenty ways you can die in the trial. They wired up in the lines of top. MK Ultra Massive top. Bet it all on the Father. We ain't lose a drought. We be riding it out. Riding it out. Them diamonds back. When the pressure fly. On the brakes. Slow down on that pride. New Jerusalem or the lake of fire. Having too much pride, you can lose your life. Gotta put in that work, cause you run out of time. Gotta use my gifts, uplift my spirits. Can't receive the word if you don't hear. All that sinning that you do, you gotta stop it.
Shalom.
You sold your soul, what was the profit?
Peace and blessings.
We gon' keep going, never stopping. Gotta let us in, repent from all them sins, rebuke them demons, guarantee you win. Stop it. Stop it.
All right, peace and blessing to the chosen. Drop a 7 in the comments if the visual coming through clearly. Drop a 7 if the comments if the audio coming through clearly. Before we get started, drop a 7 for me so I can know that the audio coming through clearly. Shalom, peace and blessings to everybody tuning in, everybody who will tune in, who will see this broadcast. If this is your first time tuning in, checking into this channel, drop a 1 in the comments. All praise to the Most High for you being present. I pray that you be edified. I pray that your spirit get fed. It's all our spirit get fed. But before we start, I want to make sure the audio is good. Want to make sure the audio good. Peace and blessing. Peace and blessing. Let me get somebody else to drop the 7. Peace and blessings to the chosen. I just need a second witness. That's all I need. Drop a 7 in the comments. Okay. All praise to the Most High. All praise to the Most High, the Creator of the heavens, the earth, the seas, and everything that's in them. Glory due to He who's allowed us to see another day, another hour, a new hour. Understanding that every day, every night that we live to see, now this is an experience that we haven't had. It's a new experience every day. So He loaded us with benefits daily, having the function of our limbs, being in our right mind to know who we are, you know what I mean, to know who the people around us is, or some of us having to go to work and, you know what I mean, got other jobs and responsibilities to tend to. You not out here on the streets somewhere out your mind like so many years. All praise it to the Most High. For any families dealing with death this week, may the Most High give you a speedy mending of y'all hearts, or through the time and trial of what you're dealing with, as far as the loss of a family member, and a loved one, a relative, or somebody close to you. I know here in Memphis, just to share with y'all, a few days ago, uh, you had some guys run a vehicle into the high school. They ran the vehicle through the high school, ended up shooting and killing one of the students. Uh, and in the shooting, they ended up grazing 2 of the young girls. Said the young girls gonna be okay, but they ended up killing their young brother. So understanding like that affects so many families. You know what I mean? The children who were involved, or the people who were there just to witness it. Like, you know what I mean? You got somebody driving a whole car through the school, through the wall, or however they got in, in the witness that they can scar people. You know what I mean? So praying for those type of situations. If we ain't witnessed those things, man, we blessed. All right. But proceeding on into the message, family. Today's message, what's been on my spirit is, why is earth and ashes proud? The mindset and the spirit of people being lifted up. People having this mindset to belittle others, and the effects of pride, or what you know what I mean, what mannerisms come with it. Being prideful, having a proud mindset will cause a person not to forgive. Which, coming into that mindset also for the day of atonement. You know what I mean? Many people, you're not even able to humble yourself to ask the Most High for forgiveness. People having pride, people being proud. You don't see nothing wrong with your actions. It's a big issue. And that spirit, that type of mindset comes from the adversary. All right, so along with that is other things that can be talked about. It's a lot of stuff. So not only on this subject matter, but also some other things that I want to show, like this one here. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Share my screen, show y'all this. Okay, let me get it. Let me get it. Check this out. So on the left right there, you got the regular screen, and on the right is showing you the same visual, uh, but in a different format. But watch what happens. Look at these orbs right here. The speed of that was going around that airplane, it ain't worldly. Watch this though. Mm. Where the plane go, family? Where did the plane go? Now my screen. Okay, come on, let's reload it. So again, we seeing it on the left side. It's giving us a better detail of how this is it really look. On the right side is what a like more so of a regular visual. What is this? What type of technology is that? Then the whole plane disappeared. What's going on? What's going on with that, family? What's really going on with that? The highest prophet, Shalom, Shalom. What's really going on with it though? Seeing it disappear. In these days and time now, I'm going into this too because uh we in a time where it's a lot of conversations being had. And within a lot of those conversations, we're not talking about the supernatural things. We're not talking about what's going on in the heavens. Which leads me to my next point. Some people may be wondering, like, why is it now, just here recently, earlier this year, you had the people saying, well, we're going to force the government to declassify UFO files. Gave them a countdown, a deadline, and everything else. They had like 180 days where they would have to submit and uncover, unveil the files that they have on UFOs or UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena. All right, so for some people, that don't mean anything. But for a believer, this is important because we understand that they talking about things that's taking place in the heavens. They talking about aliens and whatnot coming from the heavens. All right, that's a key point for us in time because we know that the Messiah, he went up. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get it. Let's go to let's go to Luke. Let's go to Luke chapter 24. Luke chapter 24. Luke chapter 24. 24, 24, however you pronounce it. All right, so this is the last chapter in Luke. I'm gonna hit let's see. I'm gonna start with 45. It says, then open he their understanding, that they might understand the scriptures, and said unto them, thus it is written, and thus it behooved Christ to suffer, and to rise from the dead the third day, and that repentance and remission of sins should be preached in his name among all nations, beginning at Jerusalem. And ye are witnesses of these things. And behold, I send the promise of my Father upon you, but tarry ye in the city of Jerusalem until ye be endued with power from on high. So this Christ admonishing the disciples like, hey, stay still, hey, hang out in Jerusalem. Once I'm gone, then you're going to get power from on high. Verse 50 says, and he led them out as far as to Bethany, and he lifted up his hands and blessed them. And it came to pass, while he blessed them, he was parted from them and carried up into heaven. All right. So over time, right, media being a powerful tool. You know what I mean? Whether it's music or through visual contact, because people learn in different ways. We got people that learn through what they hear. We got people that learn through what they see. People that learn through actual experience and hands-on. All right. So through the movies, one of the main ones, Independence Day. Psychologically, what they've been training people to have a mindset is anything that comes from the sky is a threat and something that we need to kill or something we need to see as a danger. Attack is not on our side. All right, and that's true for those who not lining up with the Messiah. That's very well true. But we're going here to show that he ascended up into heaven. Let's go to Acts real quick. Acts chapter 1. Acts chapter 1. Because there's going to be many people in that time upon the second advent, on the return of the Messiah. Guess what? They're going to find themselves fighting a losing battle. So for those who may not know, this is why we're going here. Acts chapter 1. Let's see, verse 4. It says, and being assembled together with them, commanded them that they should not depart from Jerusalem, but wait for the promise of the Father, which, saith he, ye have heard of me. For John truly baptized with water, but ye shall be baptized with the Holy Spirit not many days hence. When they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? Which upon the coming of Christ, the second coming of the Messiah, this is what Israelites are looking forward to. The destruction of this kingdom, the fall of this wicked system, to be replaced with the kingdom that is upright. It is true, that does have holiness, where it ain't no more poisonous and folly and foolishness and, you know what I mean, the mannerism of things that we see day to day. Our children being exposed to. You know what I mean? Our elders having to deal with living in fear. You know what I mean? Even the middle age, the young people, like right now, I'm going to show you another video. The system really set up and rigged, wanting people to suffer. All right, but continuing on, it says, verse 7, and he said unto them, it is not for you to know the times or the seasons which the Father hath put in his own power, but ye shall receive power after that the Holy Spirit is come upon you. And ye shall be witnesses unto me both in Jerusalem and in all Judea and in Samaria and unto the uttermost part of the earth. And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven, as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel, which also said, ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? So we know the firmament is upward. All right, so he didn't ascend it. This is the ascension of Christ. This is what we're reading about. It says, this same Yeshua, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him go into him. So the same way he went up through the firmament, he coming back down through it. So now the people that listen, the adversary, the enemy, these other Gentile nations, like they know the story. They know that the time is short. The enemy know his time is short. So now he want to roll out the information like we've been knowing. We've been knowing about its different realms. We've been knowing about, you know what I mean, stuff going on in the heavens, the stars moving. I done talked about that before. We've been knowing that these different beings, they going through different realms. They shape shifting. We know about this. So now they want to roll it out to say, well, you know what, we will tell the public and share with the public that it is actual facts that you got other beings that exist. All right, now we've been on, but Christ's gonna come back the same way he left. Rod is Memphis. Hey, what's up, Saint? Shalom, peace and blessing to you. Let's go to 1 Corinthians. Let me show you something else right quick. 1 Corinthians chapter 15. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, because we understand that his bodies, and I'm going to get to what we're talking about with the earth and ashes being proud. But in this moment, I just want to speak on this briefly. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 39. No, let's go with verse 38. It says, but the Most High giveth it a body as it hath pleased him, and to every seed his own body. All flesh is not the same flesh, but there is one kind of flesh of men, another flesh of beasts, another of fishes, and another of birds. There are also celestial bodies and bodies terrestrial. So you got bodies that's, you know what I mean, it's otherworldly. It's not the same type of flesh that we have. It's not the same type of shell. Something else that come to mind. We're talking about Mexico, them here recently coming out like they got it on the news stations. They presented to the public where they said that they found corpses of aliens, and they said that these corpses supposed to be about 1,000 years old. All right, so many people they got questions about is it real, is it true, it's fake. So then you had the scientists to take these bodies and put them on the X-ray, and through the X-rays revealing that it's a single skeleton, meaning that this is not something that was man-made where you can see screws in it or different attachments. We took this part and welded it together. Now it's all one uniform figure. And saying that one of them supposed to be pregnant. All right, now I'm not saying all this to say, well, do you believe it or don't believe it? I'm saying looking at the facts that they rolling out this information, family, because they know that the approach of the second coming is closer than what it has ever been. The book tell us, the Messiah told us, whatever is hidden gonna be revealed. The truth gonna spring up from the earth. They can't hide it forever. You know what I mean? And those of us who've been operating with the Most High, he done revealed it to us already. So we've been on that. But here in 1 Corinthians 15 and 40 is telling us it's different forms of bodies. You know what I mean? We got so many people beyond the facts of, us acknowledging our heritage and culture, man. Like, it's real spirits out there. It's people that's demon possessed. You know what I'm saying? And aside from that, you got seers and prophets, to where you got people who can lay hands on folks and they be healed. You know what I mean? You got those who do actually have visions. Those not just being a dream that they had, you know what I mean? But it's actually the Most High sending a message to his people to warn them before something happens. Like, that's really going on. Saying all that to say, man, that's in that realm of the Most High, the spiritual realm, for those who worship in spirit and in truth. That's what we're supposed to be on. You know what I mean? And pride is one of the main things that'll keep us from elevating. Pride is one of the main things that'll keep us from being able to experience and witness these supernatural things. Pride is one of the main things that'll separate us from the Most High. That's why we're going to talk about it. Verse 40 again says, there are also celestial bodies and bodies terrestrial, but the glory of the celestial is one, and the glory of the terrestrial is another. There is one glory of the sun, and another glory of the moon, and another glory of the stars. For one star differeth from another star in glory. All right, so this is all I'm going to drop on that part there. Shalom, Mashka and Tony. Shalom, shalom, shalom. I mentioned earlier that pride will keep a person from apologizing. So within it is also a high chance for a person to not practice, show, and render mercy. And we need mercy. We're going to need mercy to get in the gates. We're going to need mercy when we standing before the throne of the Most High. Because we have transgressed. Many have, whether it was through speech or action or thought. We're going to need mercy on the day of judgment. So the Messiah admonishes us, love mercy. All right, but in pride, one won't be able to extend that mercy. They'll feel like, man, I don't need to show you no mercy. In pride, a person will feel like they got it so figured out, they got all the answers. There's nothing you can tell them. There's nothing you can show them. All right, but let's go to Habakkuk 2. Habakkuk 2 and 4. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 4. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 4. I'm going to show you some more stuff too. I'm going to share my screen again. Because I want to stick on one subject, but it's a lot of different stuff going on in the hours that we living in from. Let's see. Habakkuk chapter 2 and 4. All right, and it says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. So the person who they have this proud look, they have this mindset that they're above other people. They're full of themselves. It said the soul of that person is not upright within them. That's not a godly spirit. Said, but the just shall live by his faith. All right, but those just persons will be living by faith. You know, having faith in the Messiah, looking forward to the second coming. You know what I mean? Having faith that he gonna guide us and direct us. Not knowing or yet knowing. All praise to the Most High for this. Now let's go to Micah though. I want to get some out of Micah. Say the spirit of that person is not right in them. Micah chapter 6. Micah chapter 6, verse 6. All right, Micah chapter 6, verse 6. Shalom, peace and blessing to y'all. It says, wherewith shall I come before the Most High and bow myself before the high power? Shall I come before him with burnt offerings, with calves of a year old? Will the Most High be pleased with thousands of rams or with 10,000s of rivers of oil? Shall I give my firstborn for my transgression, the fruit of my body for the sin of my soul? So this here is a question rhetorical saying, what would the Most High accept from me for forgiveness? All right, verse 8 says, he hath showed thee, O man, what is good, and what doeth the Most High require of thee, but to do justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with thy power. All right, it says, the Most High's voice crieth unto the city, and a man of wisdom shall see thy name. Hear ye the rod, and who have appointed it. All right, but what we focusing on here says, to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with the Most High. All right, so this is the defense against the spirit of pride. This is what the Most High said, I want from you. So many times we engage with one another. Like I said, we belittle one another, or we don't look out for one another because we saying you don't believe the way that I believe. You don't believe the things that I believe. You don't celebrate the Sabbath at the same time that I celebrate. You don't keep the feast days the same day that I keep. You consume flesh. You're not a vegan. You don't believe in polygamy, or you are a monogamous person. Saying, well, you drink wine. All these different things. We'll find the error. We'll find what's wrong or what's different. Focus on those things and allow them to be a hedge between us more than we'll find on what's coming. What do we have in common? Where can we unite in? All right, and then in that case, because a person has a different perspective and viewpoint than the other person, you start looking down on. It's something wrong with you. You off. All of these things, but you don't have all the answers. None of us do. If I had all the answers, it wouldn't be a reason or a need for the Holy Spirit to guide us into all truth. If I had the answer, or you had all the answers, it wouldn't be a need for the Most High. And the book tells us that he set the world in the heart of men that they won't ever figure it out. We'll never figure it out. If we did, what need would we have to pray? What would we have to look forward to, to understand that he's separate and more supreme than we are if we had all the answers? All right, and that's a telltale sign and a red flag to have that mindset because it comes from the adversary, comes from Satan. All right, let me share the screen again, though. Let me share the screen again and show you something else. Let's see. Well, let me show you what I was talking about with Mexico. One of the many videos. One of those many videos.
Trace Gallagher, anchor of Fox News tonight, has the latest. Trace.
Yes,
These mummified bodies are called Clara and Mauricio.
Some Mexican
Some
doctors
Mexican doctors say all the evidence points to them
being from a
being from a
different
different
world.
world. The bodies were unearthed
in Peru
in Peru back in 2017 and have been studied
by
by numerous doctors and UFO experts. But a Mexican doctor named Jose Salce Benitez says, quoting here, I can confirm that these bodies
have no
relation to human beings. Now, Dr. Benitez went on to say these bodies were not assembled or manipulated, and that one of the bodies was actually gestating, possibly even carrying eggs at the time
of death.
And he believes that each of the bodies is made of a single skeleton. Now, that's important because a lot of other scientists and experts, including some from the U.S., believe the Mexican doctors and the UFO enthusiasts are wrong, and that the bodies are made up of a combination of human and animal parts. And they also say that testing proves that some of the mummified parts didn't even die at the same time. Both sides agree the bodies were not recovered from some UFO crash site. In fact, the Mexican researchers say they were found in algae mines and subsequently became fossilized. But this whole back and forth is coming at a very unique time where a list of countries are trying to lift the veil on the history of unidentified phenomena. And the last thing UFO experts want is to get caught up in phony information. We should note that Mexican politicians are considering passing a law that would make Mexico the first country in the world to acknowledge the presence of aliens on the planet, and many of those Mexican lawmakers found that Clara and Mauricio, the mummified bodies, were very compelling evidence. Yes.
Clara
and Mauricio. That has quite the ring to it. What do you have on the show tonight, Trace? We are going to look at the migrant crisis through the eyes, Jesse, of some Americans who are being impacted by it. Don't want to miss it. Fox News at night, 11.
All right. So this right there, and this what I was talking about, family. This is what I was talking about. Pretty much, they showing these beings again. Though I'm not showing it to say whether or not a person believe it or don't believe it. I'm showing it in the case to say, listen, the world is a vast place. The Most High is a spirit. And beyond what we know, listen, it's things beyond just us. So we got to know that it is a different realm. And within it, the approach, the focus is the approach in the second coming. So upon the second coming and leading that way, the thing that I always aim to do is not so much to teach something that's within the mystery, right? But more so, what is it going to cost and take for us to get into the kingdom? At the end of all things, there's no congregation with you at the throne, family. At the end of all things, though you love your wife or your husband, your children, your siblings, your parents, your extended family in Christ, guess what? At the throne, it's not going to be none of them. It's going to be you and the Most High and what you've done. One of the things that'll keep us out is pride, man, having a proud look. All right, let's go to Luke 12. All right, so why is earth and ashes proud? Why is earth and ashes proud when this right here is true? Let me see. It's the humble, the contrite and broken spirit. That's who the Most High looking for. Those who gonna serve in spirit and truth, who not puffed up, who not lifted up, who not proud. Those who he still can pour into if your cup is full and he want to pour something to it, their pride is equal to your cup being full. He can't put nothing else in it, son. He can't put nothing else in it. You can't even get information and be quickened in your spirit for nothing else. But if we keep our glasses, with space in it for him to pour into us, listen, we can continue to be fortifying our faith and our spirit. Luke 12, verse 25, though. Luke chapter 12. Let's see. Yeah, 25, right on it. It says, "And which of you with taking thought can add to his stature 1 cubit? If ye then being not able to do that thing which is least, why take ye thought for the rest?" So I'm going here because we don't even have the power to increase our height if when we get ready. You know what I mean? So, but people have this complex of being proud and lifted up with the noses and looking down on other people for whatever reason, and which a lot of it is stemmed from the Willie Lynch syndrome, the Willie Lynch curse. A lot of it spawned from that. Uh, we don't even have the power to do that. So why would we be so proud to look down on our neighbors? The Most High is the one who got the power of all those things. Sirach, though, let's go to the Apocrypha. Charmaine, I appreciate that. Let's go to the Apocrypha, Sirach 3. Sirach chapter 3. Sirach chapter 3, or Ecclesiasticus chapter 3, verse 18. Ecclesiasticus chapter 3, verse 18. It says, "The greater thou art, the more humble thyself, and thou shalt find favor before the Most High." So the more the Most High elevates you, or whether it is in your job, in a day-to-day career, or whether it's some position of status that you gain within a neighborhood, within any organization or group, whether the Most High didn't increase your financial bracket, or even if it's a vehicle you didn't got, your house and living seat, man, that's not the Most High said. The more He bless you with, become more humble, knowing and understand that at any given time, brothers and sisters, for one, none of these things on the planet going with us. Not even the skin we in going with us. When we go to these funerals and we see loved ones in the casket and they get dropped in the ground, listen, the soul has departed from their body. That shell is still there. All right, so the more and the further the Most High take us, when He increase us with knowledge, when He quicken our spirit and give us answers. So many people puffed up and proud because of the visions, because of the Most High actually speaks to them and give them, words and confirmation that when they go out and talk to other people, they say, "You know what? I was praying that the Most High answered me on that, and you just did that." For some, they can't handle their praise. So then they, "Oh yeah, I did. Look at me now. They get to bragging on themselves. The book said, "Let another man's lips praise thee." All right, and it's no coincidence, but very strange, ain't it? How the Pharisees, they were lifted up just like Pharaoh, the king of Egypt was. Pharaoh, Pharisees, closely related. That's something strange that I was looking at. But the more and the further the Most High take us, man, we got to be more humble. As He increase you, look for more reasons to serve the people around you. You know what I mean? And that right there will help us out. So Sirach 3 and 18 again says, "The greater thou art, the more humble thyself, and thou shalt find favor before the Most High. Many are in high place and of renown, but mysteries are revealed unto the meek. For the power of the Most High is great, and He is honored of the lowly." The Most High is honored of the lowly, because you can continue. If you at the bottom, ain't nowhere to go but up. But if you are already at the top, listen, ain't nowhere to go but down. You know what I mean? He's gonna bring you down the same way He did Pharaoh in Egypt. Let us keep that spirit far from us, and also praying that that spirit be far from our children. You got some people that through their life they've been belittled. They've been talked about, and I get it's hurt, and it's a scar on the inside. It's painful. So then these same people end up raising their children, telling them, "Hey, listen, you great, you're gonna be." There's nothing wrong with that, but some tell them in a way to where the children end up having the complex of a narcissist. We don't want that, because you've been hurt in your life. You train your child to have a mindset against that, where it won't hurt them, but then in the long run, it still hurt them if we don't give them that back rate. But understand that at any given time, you're supposed to be humble. You very cold. I love how good you are in the athletics and how smart you are in school and you advancing real fast. But don't forget that that's a gift from the Most High. This is how we're supposed to tell our children. To keep them from gaining a prideful spirit. For feeling like, yeah, I'm so smart. You know what I mean? That's a detestable spirit for anybody to have. Continuing on, verse 21 says, seek not out the things that are too hard for thee, neither search the things that are above thy strength. But what is commanded thee, think thereupon with reverence, for it is not needful for thee to see with thine eyes the things that are in secret. Be not curious in unnecessary matters, for more things are showed unto thee than men understand. For many are deceived by their own vain opinion, and an evil suspicion have overthrown their judgment. Continuing on, says, without eyes thou shalt want light. Profess not the knowledge, therefore, that thou hast not. Even a prideful spirit, being proud to have a person, you speaking about stuff you know nothing of. You talking like I said earlier, you got all the answers. We don't have all the answers. We seeking the Most High for that. I think there's one more thing I want from her. Let's see. That's all I want on it. That's all I want from them. Let's go to Luke 14. Let's go to Luke 14. Luke chapter 14, family. All praise to the Most High. Charmaine. Luke chapter 14. Luke chapter 14. Luke chapter 14, verse 7. It says, and he put forth a parable to those which were bidden, when he marked how they chose out the chief rooms, saying unto them, when thou art bidden of any man to a wedding, sit not down in the highest room, lest a more honorable man than thou be bidden of him. And he that bade thee, and him come and say to thee, give this man place, and thou begin with shame to take the lowest room. But when thou art bidden, go and sit down in the lowest room, that when he that bade thee cometh, he may say unto thee, friend, go up higher. Then shalt thou have worship in the presence of them that sit at meat with thee. For whosoever exalteth himself shall be abased, and he that humbleth himself shall be exalted. This is the formula what we want to work with, family. So we don't go in feeling like I deserve to be sitting up front on the stage and everybody's silent and listen to me. We ain't coming like that. We going to the lowest. We going to the spot where, we ain't trying to be seen. But if his other father's will, then he'll send an usher. He'll put it on somebody else. But hey, what you think about this? Yeah, you come on up, brother. You come on up, sister, and share with us what it is that you think. And pray for the Most High pour his spirit out on you in that moment, which he's honored of the lowly, like what we just read. And the Most High give you that quickening, what whoever need a word will receive it. But it said those who exalt themselves, the Most High going to base them. He's going to bring them down. But the ones who choose to be humble, the Most High going to exalt. He's going to raise them up. That's what we want. Let's go back to Sirach. This is one of the major verses that stood out to me in my studies, over the years. And I always kind of had the mindset of, people who arrogant. I didn't like that. I'm just sharing it with y'all. Like that it always rubbed me the wrong way. But then I ended up finding out why. Here it is here. Ecclesiasticus chapter 10, verse 12, it says, the beginning of pride is when one departeth from the Most High. and his heart is turned away from his maker. So when that spirit of pride come in, that's the beginning when people leave from the Most High. You start saying, oh, I don't need God. I don't need the Holy One of Israel. Said, and when one parts, his heart is turned away from his maker. You don't have reverence for him. You feel like you got this thing figured out. All right, so let me show you something though. So there was a guy who, he mentioned he had a lot to say against the scriptures. He had become lifted up because he was knowledgeable about certain things. Let me show you one video of something that he had to say. Share my screen. Share my screen again, family. Who is that right there? Listen to what he say right here. This is Brother Polite. Listen to what he say right here.
I said, you kidding me? Just when I thought this shit go deep, and it ain't gonna go no deeper, the nigga said they will let they man rape their 12-year-old daughter, or any daughter there for that matter, because in God's kingdom, you can just and he read the verse.
Now what he talking about, he out. However, he's speaking on it in a way, family, to say it's an issue for adults to be dealing with children, right? So now we fast forward from those years and he spoke on it. Now look at him today. Let me share the screen for this. This same guy now. Give me a second. Here we go. Here he is again. He just went to court. He just got convicted. Check it out.
Specialize in selling false dreams. You know what you did in that hotel room. I know what you did, and my daughter knows what you did. DNA doesn't lie. There's no reason why your DNA should have been found on my baby. And yes, I satisfied your bogus request to not be labeled a sex offender, but it doesn't take away from who you truly are. I wasn't going to waste any time going back and forth with you over a label. God will judge you for exactly the person he knows you to be, a sexual predator.
All right, so who's talking is the mother of the child who he sexually offended.
So rest assured, jail time equals jail time. And I pray that during your 10 years of sex offender probation, you actually receive the treatment that you need, and it helps heal your sick mind and get the thoughts of being with children out of it. All you care about is your pretend image, but I know exactly who you are now. You want to be this public figure, but you want to do all your evil acts in secret. You're so self-centered. That's why the last time I saw you on February 27, 2021, you fought me. You tried to hold me hostage from taking my daughter to the hospital. I'll never forget that cowardly look in your eyes. I'll never forget it. You were so scared. You were so scared because you realized you messed with the wrong one. Your last words to me, you held me and said, please don't go. You're going to ruin my career. Well, today, September 6th, 2023, my last words to you are, I hope the next 17 years of your life, you're reminded of the disgusting, terrifying, unforgivable act that you've done to my innocent daughter.
15 years state prison.
15 years state prison. This the same guy, family. He was shooting. He took a gun and started shooting the Bible. You can find him online. He's saying a lot of stuff speaking against the Bible, speaking against the Most High, speaking against the culture. Lifted up. And he made it to where he was recognized in Hollywood, you know what I mean? Pretty much a celebrity in many ways. All right, but now look at the situation. Being lifted up, and the Most High bringing this person down. For anybody who's ever dealt with a situation like what we're looking at, I'm not planning this to offend you or bring back any memories or anything like this, so forgive me if it does offend you at all.
Count 2 was lewd and lascivious molestation on a child, 12 to 16 years, a second-degree felony, punishable by up to 15 years state prison. Lewd and lascivious conduct on a child under 16 by a defendant 18 or over, a second-degree felony, punishable by up to 15 years state prison. Count 4, lewd and lascivious exhibition on a child under 16 years, defendant over 18, a second-degree felony, punishable by up to 15 years state prison. And contributing to the dependency of a child, a first-degree misdemeanor, punishable by up to 1 year in jail. And then count 6 is interference with custody, a third-degree felony, punishable by up to 5 years state prison. The state has now filed an amended information today, charging you with the following: aggravated child abuse, great bodily harm, a first-degree felony, punishable by up to 30 years state prison. Count 2 is aggravated child abuse, great bodily harm, a first-degree felony, punishable by up to 30 years state prison. And contributing to the dependency of a child, a first-degree misdemeanor, punishable by up to 1 year in jail. It is my understanding that you wish to plead guilty to this new information. You would be adjudicated guilty, and your sentence has been memorialized in a 4-page plea agreement. Did you have the opportunity to go over this plea agreement with your lawyer?
Yes.
Your Honor, the plea agreement includes an adjudication, 7 years of state prison, followed by 10 years of reporting probation. As a condition of probation, the defendant
It's like we say 10 years
10 years of reporting probation. The defendant will complete the MPSO program. The defendant will not be allowed to have unsupervised contact with children. The defendant will have specific terms regarding where he may work and the ability to wear a uniform. There are additional terms of restitution, of which $5,000 has been agreed to be paid upon within 24 hours mailed to the victim, and additional restitution to be paid out on a monthly basis once he is out of custody. And that monthly amount is highlighted in the written terms of the plea. Additionally, there will be a stay-away order from victim TS and her mother, which is also mentioned in the plea agreement.
What is the total amount of restitution?
The total amount of restitution is $25,000.
Okay, so Mr. Nowak, the terms of the plea agreement are as what the prosecutor just stated, that you are going to be entering a plea of guilty to the 2 counts of aggravated child abuse and 1 count of contributing to the delinquency of a minor. You will be adjudicated guilty, which is a criminal conviction on your record. You also understand, sir, that by entering into this plea that it may subject you to involuntary civil commitment proceedings set forth in Florida statutes 394.910 through 394.931. Do you understand everything that I've said thus far?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I want to also advise you, sir, that you are going to be sentenced to 7 years in state prison, to be followed by 10 years of reporting probation. In addition to any of these special conditions of probation, you will also participate in and successfully complete a mentally disordered sex offender treatment program, that you are also not eligible. Okay, you may, according to the state, you may be eligible for early termination if all of the conditions of your probation have been completed, that you have had no violations of your probation, and that you have not been arrested for any other criminal offense. Is that correct, Steve?
And to clarify, the terms stated in 5 is there is no probation on early termination.
Okay. So just showing it as another one of the people. Another one of the people who, they talk a lot boastfully, against the Most High and the Word. But here it is with that pride, what comes with it, bringing them down. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon, why is earth and ashes proud? A lot of people proud because they are smart. They got intellect. They are wonderful orators. They know how to talk and capture a crowd and keep them engaged. Listen, none of that don't matter to the Most High. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 6. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 6 verse 7. Says, for he which is Lord over all that fear. So like, for he which is Lord over all shall fear no man's person, neither shall he stand in awe of any man's greatness. For he have made the small and great and care for all alike. So the Most High, you know what I mean? He's not shocked and stunned about nothing we do. He's the creator. We are the creation. He's not stunned. He the one that made the mind. He's the one that created the liver and its functions. He's the one who created and caused these birds to not be created from, you know what I mean, the earth itself, land. He made the fowl of the earth from water. You know what I'm saying? He's the one that can separate light from dark, and he put the moon in the sky for him. You know what I mean? So it's nothing that'll wow the Most High. But people oftentimes tend to get wowed out and be stuck in shock with awe when we see people rise up and they can speak well. You know what I mean? When they do something that is, you know what I mean, honorable. A lot of times reading through the scripture, we see how even when Christ was walking the earth in the body fleshly, the people wanted to take him and make him a king. He dodged and ducked and got out the way. Like, no. We seen in the Old Testament time where they wanted to take the brother and make him a captain of them. They had just put him out, said, listen, your mother was a harlot. We don't want no dealings with you. But then when these Gentile nations came, they needed a man of valor to lead them. They went back to their same brother. Will you be our captain? So people have always wanted somebody to rule over them, our people specifically, more than any. All right, but in this case, man, the Most High not in awe or shock for none of it. He's the one to be glorified. We should be in awe of him. All right, let me see. Sirach 10 and 9. Sirach chapter 10, verse 9. Ecclesiasticus chapter 10, verse 9, page 7 and 6, if you got the red apocrypha. All right, and what it reads, it says, why is earth and ashes proud? There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man, for such an one setteth his own soul to sell, because while he liveth, he casteth away his bowels. So a person who's that covetous and proudly, they'll sell their soul. Let me show you something else, though. I know I'm kind of all over the place, but I mentioned earlier there's a whole lot to talk about, things that I've seen throughout the week. So I'm trying to, bring those things to the forefront. Sirach 5 and 15 tell us, be not ignorant in any matter, small or great. So just to show what's going on throughout the world, if you haven't seen it, if you don't know anything about it, you know what I mean, so we all be on game. Share the screen again. Let's see. This right here tripped me out. He didn't took this beat him. Look what he's doing to him. gonna make it make sense. The finished product. The finished product, family. So now this right here stood out to me because the man then took a natural being, a beetle, put all this metal into it, fused it. And this is the same mindset that they have for us. Don't be fooled and tricked about what they doing with this AI. Don't be fooled and tricked about thinking that it's gonna only be, you know what I mean, in the realm to stay inside of a computer. They put the computer in everything. The last place they want to put it is in us. Keeping in mind, here recently, Elon Musk just got the approval for the Neuralink to put the Neuralink into humans. If you don't know about Neuralink, this is what he was saying. He said he pitched it and rolled it out saying, well, we're gonna put a device, this chip in your brain. And for those who paraplegic, like say your legs don't work, what it'll do, it'll restore function to your legs where if you never walked before, you will be able to walk. All right, but further in the study, I found out he's saying that, okay, also with the chip, you know, it being implanted in your brain, say you never been to Delaware. You got the Neuralink. You go to Delaware. You can download a map to Delaware and know the whole state, city, or whatever town like you've been living there your whole life. All right, so for me, it works on many different levels, which I hold out on that thought pattern that I got. But the idea to fuse man with machine, all of this falls under the banner for the trickery of the enemy. Not being able to recognize the Messiah when he cracked the sky. So we're gonna stay on guard out there too. Listen. Let me see what else I got for y'all before we close out. What else do I have? I want to share my screen again. Let's see. We got that going. We got the mechanics. Well. Let's see. That's pretty much it, fam. I know, like I said, I know it was kind of everywhere. However, really just wanted to drive that point about, you know, us not being consumed with their spirit to be proud. You know what I mean? Understanding that Satan had that same spirit. He said he gonna ascend into the heavens and be like the Most High. It's no coincidence. So him going into the heavens or wanting and desire to go into the heavens, we also realize on the flip side that the Messiah actually did ascend, and he coming back the same way. So the people rolling out the information saying, yeah, they wanted to be a world like Futurama, where you got the humans and the demons and the cyborgs and AI all together, which they wanted to be all that because they need every force possible that they can to try to contend with the Messiah when he comes to make war with the Lamb. But it's going to be over with. We want to be found on the right side, saints. All right, so I didn't have too much for y'all today. I pray that it was edifying in some kind of way. Y'all be blessed. May the Most High be magnified. May the rest of y'all night be blessed. And keeping the feast may be with you. Uh, all praise to the Most High. Shalom.